Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So today we'll start with the news lecture, which is like respect from Srimad Bhagavatam and Mahabharata. Just give me a moment to share.
Observance of Sadachar or Vaishnav Achar or Maryad.
Are you able to hear? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu.
The essence. And I remember when this photograph was taken. This was at the Henry Street Temple in Brooklyn. Prabhupada had a sitting room that was with a double brownstone building, which means same on this side, same on that side. So his sitting room was as big as the temple room. It was big space. So on the far end of his sitting room, they set up this crushed velvet backdrop. And look at the books. I mean, Prabhupada looks very serious, but the contribution that he gave left behind, Krishna books standing up, these 2 volumes, Canto 1, Canto 2, the first volume of Canto 3, Teachings of Lord Chaitanya, Nectar of Instruction, Nectar Devotion, Bhagavad Gita, Sri Ashopanishad, stacked up. Like that's, for many people, that's several lifetimes worth of work, and he was not done yet, leaving behind him a very special gift. Giving it, teaching it by word, by an example, and leaving it behind to cross the ocean of material existence. Great gift. At great sacrifice. And pretty fantastic garland too, huh? So, ways in which Srimad Bhagavatam teaches us Vaishnava etiquette. And with the starting point here is Krishna's respect, the etiquette of respect towards cows. And so many paintings. This is a classic B.G. Sharma painting showing Krishna with many cows. And the cows loved Krishna, Krishna loved the cows. In our discussion with the Chinese devotees, we were covering chapter 11 of Canto 10. Krishna's childhood pastimes. You want to know if the sound's working? The sound's working. You can't hear it? Very good. There was two questions. Question number 1. How old was Krishna? Because we said that Krishna's childhood pastimes, little Krishna, he's got a flute and he's got a peacock feather. So when did Krishna get his flute? How old was Krishna? He wasn't born with a flute. When did Krishna get a flute? Answer, we did some research. According to a book by Kavi Karnapur, Ananda Vrindavan Champu, he was 4 years, 4 months old. He received his flute just prior to the killing of the Aghasura demon. And chronologically, that was around 4 years, 4 months. Second question, what's the rasa of the cows towards Krishna? Because the question was raised, one person was kind of feisty. He said, I read somewhere that the cows are in Shantaras, but they do so much service to Krishna, and how can it be Shantarasa? Because Shantarasa is neutrality, and they do service. Can't it be Dasya Rasa? Or Vatsalya Rasa? Like the cow is like the mother, and so Krishna sees the cows like mother, and the cows see Krishna like son. He would drink the cow directly, milk directly from the cows, etc., etc. What's the answer? The answer, after some substantial research, there are different reports from different acharyas. In Krishnadas Kaviraj's writing, Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's a list of the different rasas. It's drawn from, the description of rasas is drawn from Rupa Goswami's teachings. And there it says, doesn't say, I couldn't find anything in Rupa Goswami's teachings, but there it says that cows are in Shantarasa, Chaitanya Charitamrita. Similarly, Bhakti Siddhanta, following that line, in many places, Amrita Vani and many other places, Shantarasa. In one place he says, although they render much service, they're not exactly in Dasarasa, they're in Shantarasa. It's kind of like moving a little bit in that direction. They do a service, but Shantarasa. He just maintains Shantarasa. And then Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says Madhurya Rasa. Excuse me, not Madhurya, Vatsalya Rasa. Parental affection. Whatever the rasa is, Krishna loves them. And they love Krishna very much. When Krishna was young, it's described exactly like this. The cowherd boys went out to herd the calves, but they didn't herd the calves, they just played. And because the calves were so attached to Krishna, they just followed Krishna. They didn't have to herd them. The calves just followed them. Usually cow herds, or taking care of cows and calves, there's a stick and you tap the cow so they go in the right direction, they don't go in the wrong direction. You guide them. That's the cow herding with the cow herd stick. But they would just follow him. And they would play and play and play, and they would, wherever Krishna wanted to go to play, that's where they would go. Relax. Relax. Thank you. Okay. Now, that's Krishna towards the cows, and there's some nice examples of Krishna towards brahmanas. Krishna towards brahmanas. We heard a very nice pastime the other day. A very nice pastime. When Mother Rohini wanted Krishna and Balaram to come. They were near River Yamuna, and she wanted them to come, and she requested them to come have their morning meal and take their bath, because they were playing even before they did that. And they didn't pay any attention to her. And so Rohini went back and asked Yashoda, you go, because they'll listen to you. They have more respect. That's our respect point for you than for me. So she went back, Mother Yashoda, and she tried this, she tried that, she tried the other thing. She tried child psychology. She tried many things. And finally, she just took Krishna by the hand and brought him back to the house. Because Krishna respected his mother, but he had his childhood because he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but childhood-like behavior to stimulate the love, the Vatsalya rasa of Mother Yashoda, so that he would play and play and play, and she wanted him to eat and take bath and do things that mothers like kids to do. Nice exchange, very nice exchange. And one of the things that she did when she brought him back to the house, after bathing him and feeding him, she said, today, the moon moves through today. The moon is moving through your nakshatra, your star of birth. That wasn't his birthday, but the moon is moving through that star. And so today is a very auspicious day for giving cows to brahmanas. Now, I took note of it. He's a little boy that just likes to play, and she's already training him to give cows and charity to the brahmanas, respect the brahmanas, and value the cows. That's their wealth is the cows, their dairy products, and the agriculture products. That's their wealth. And give wealth to the brahmanas. So respect. So respect to the brahmanas. Here's starting with the brahmana Sudama. Sudama, Krishna came all the way from Mathura and Porbandar, which is now near Ujjain. That's where he lived. And so they came from two different locations, but it was a very special school. And so there the two boys, Krishna and Sudama, enjoying their association together. And as children, we discussed it this morning during the Fire Yagya Summit, Pani. They went to the forest to gather firewood and on a daily basis. And one day, it was a big rainstorm, so much storm that the water started to flood, and the water was flooding so much so, it says in the chapter of this 43, Canto 10, the water was, you couldn't tell high ground from low ground. Too much water, and high wind, and so they decided they couldn't see because the sky was all clouds and rain clouds. So they spent the night in the forest, huddled together, just the two of them. It was a very nice, loving exchange between the two. Because they're little boys. Then, of course, after some time, they grew up and they went their separate ways. Krishna went back to Mathura and Sudama went to Porbandar. And both of them became married. But they had a different lifestyle. Krishna was from a Kshatriya family, and Sudama was from a Brahmana family. And not only he was from a Brahmana family, but he was inclined to just literally bare minimum. Like bare minimum means for us is like substandard, is impoverished. And he was eating very little and sleeping very little, and he was married. His wife was concerned for his well-being. He's so skinny, all his bones are showing. He doesn't have a proper cloth to wear. He only has one cloth, and it has holes in it. And no, she was a loving wife. She reminded Krishna, it's difficult for me to see you in this condition. Not far from here, you remember when you went to school? Krishna was there. He's now in Dwarka. Krishna has so much opulence. Go to Krishna and ask for some necessities, please. And he didn't want to go ask Krishna for anything because he was satisfied with the little that he had. But his wife wasn't satisfied, and wives can say things enough times that the husband says, okay. It's called nagging. So she nagged him enough that finally he went. But when you go to meet someone, this is a very important part. I remember in one devotee from Ireland was really good at drama. He's a GBC member, and we had these charades. You know what charades are? You don't say anything, you act something, and the people in the audience have to figure out what's the storyline. So it was the story was Sudama Brahman, and we're supposed to act out the Sudama Brahman story. But the part that he got that nobody else got was Sudama was carrying this little cloth bag because the family was so poor. He asked his wife, can you get something from the pantry? And there was nothing in the pantry. There was nothing. So she had to go ask some neighbors for some rice. But all they had, because they were also brahmanas and quite poor, it was just broken rice. And she didn't have a bag, she just had a cloth. So she put the several handfuls of broken rice called puha. You know what that one is? Some of you know what that one is. Like, not very high quality rice. Flat rice, kind of. In a cloth. So there he is, Sudama, with that little cloth bag over his shoulder, coming to one of the 16,108 palaces. He happened to come to Rukmini's palace. And as soon as Krishna saw him, immediately he recognized, my dear friend. So he got off the throne, reached out his arms, embraced Sudama. How wonderful to see you, so long, haven't seen you. And then he worshipped him, because that's what Kshatriyas do. Now, in childhood, they're friends, although by culture and custom, one is Kshatriya, the other is Brahmana. Now they're adults, so the Kshatriya, Krishna, is washing the feet of Sudama. And Sudama's pretty uncomfortable having his feet washed, but Krishna persuaded him somehow or other, and it's a very nice painting. Look closely, you can see Krishna is not paying too much attention to washing his feet, he's just looking into Sudama's eyes. And Sudama's not paying attention to his feet being washed, he's looking at Krishna's eyes. And that's their relationship, their loving exchange with one another. Although in the role of respecting the Brahmana, because that's what in Vedic culture, not only Kshatriyas, but Brahmanas are to be respected. And Rukmini got in the act, and she's waving a chamara, and Krishna's offering him, after bathing his feet, offering him nice edibles, because he's so skinny and very simple cloth. And you know that how the story ends? Here's how the story ends. After the time spent together, it's time to go. And Krishna sees the bag of rice. And he said, Sudama, you brought some gift for me. Let's have it. Because Sudama was embarrassed seeing the opulence of Krishna. Here's this flat rice. So he kind of hid it, but Krishna snatched it. And he opened up the cloth and started eating. Rukmini grabbed his hand and checked his hand so he couldn't eat more. But he ate some already. It's not fit for you. No, it's the best. It's the very best because it was offered to him with love. And in time, it was now time for Sudama to return. And he's walking back home thinking, Krishna is so kind. Krishna is so kind. He knew why I came because he's omniscient. Look at all his palaces. He's the supreme person. He knows why I came, but he didn't ask me because if he asked me, I'd have to tell him. I'm a Brahmin. I have to tell the truth. And then he'd give me so many nice things. And he would give me so many nice things, then I'd become proud. Oh, I have so many nice things. So he didn't even ask me because he know I have a tendency to become proud. Krishna is so kind. Krishna is so kind. So all the way back home, he's just thinking about Krishna. He's very Krishna conscious. And what happened next? When he got home, he couldn't find his home. Instead, he saw a big palace where his home was. And what's this? And out of the palace came this lady who didn't even recognize, who are you? I'm your wife. Because she was dressed in opulence and nice sari and ornaments and this and that. And she was before skinny with one cloth. Now she's this opulent person that claims that's his wife. And he asked, what's this? She said, I thought this is your arrangement. You asked Krishna for help, and this is what Krishna gave. And then he started thinking, Krishna is so kind. I didn't even ask, and he knew. And look what he's done. Even without asking, look what he's done. Krishna is so kind. Krishna is so kind. And they lived the rest of their life in a palace. But because his inclination was simplicity, he continued just sleeping on the floor and living a very simple life and eating very frugally and not dressing opulently. That was his disposition. It wasn't painful for him. It was comfortable for him. It was very natural. Some people, it's very natural. Some people, the opulence is very natural. And it's a sign of a Brahmana. He's detached from worldliness.
Hare Krishna. So we'll pause here for today. Hare Krishna. Can you hear me?
Yes, Prabhu.
Leelita Prabhu, you have your hands raised. You want to share something?
Am I audible?
Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu, for playing this lecture. Few points I liked very, very much. The first point, while Maharaj was talking about Srila Prabhupada and all these books, he said that great gift and that comes with great sacrifice. It was a really nice thing. The other part which was moving to me was Sudama's introspection. While he was leaving for back to his Porbandar, the place where he used to stay, and how nicely he's contemplating that. Although, if you see, there was visibly seeing there is no response from Krishna, and still he was thinking, okay, where is Krishna is so kind that he didn't even ask, because if he asked, I'm a Brahmin, I'll tell the truth, then he will give a lot of gifts, I'll become proud. And generally, when in our case, or in my case, if I don't get response from Krishna, there is a disappointment. And sometimes not only response, I want the response exactly the way I want to have. Krishna may not give, or he may give it a little differently, and I feel disappointment. But here it was very, very encouraging that how person should introspect recognize, acknowledge the reciprocation from Krishna. That was really good. I have two questions, Prabhu, just simple questions. So the first question is that what we, different versions of Spasna we hear. Here means I read in the books, watch in TV, in the movies also, that so different places said different way the why Sudama went to Krishna. So most of the places they said that his wife said, okay, we need something, so please go and ask help from Krishna. That's here Maharaj says the same thing. But the other version, they said that, okay, wife actually did not see, but they noticed that Krishna is actually, in invisible way, he's helping them out. Like he got wounds, then Krishna is in invisible way, he's applying some medicine. So then his wife said, okay, looks like Krishna is, doing something. Now you go to Mathura and you just tell him that everything is all right. He need not worry about it, and that's why he went. So I want to know what is like our scripture says. What made him to go to Mathura? The second question is that while he was eating this chipped rice, it says that in each fist of the chipped rice, he gave this one of the planetary system or like maybe upper planetary system or something like that, and then Rukmani Devi will stop him. But here Maharaj doesn't say this. So these two things I want to know what is the our scripture says for. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Lakshmi Narayan Prabhu or Kumarika Mataji?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Marika. I was deeply moved by the way in which he answered the questions raised by the Chinese devotees, so meticulously finding out from different sources, from different acharyas, what was the rasa of the cows with Krishna, and when did he get his flute. Such small details also. He never says that offhand anything. He always refers to the scriptures, and if he is not finding, he writes to his god brothers whom he knows are in particular subject. They are the experts and all that. It is very, once again, showing his humility and a meticulous way of teaching. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Shamkun Prabhu?
Dear Lalithu, if you don't mind, can you during the day, sometime during the day, just type your two questions in the chat, and we can have it tomorrow, Prabhu, if you don't mind.
Sure, Prabhu.
A few things from my side. Um, Number one, okay, one of these is like what Kumarika Mataji said, that somebody asked a question and Maharaj, he just tried to research it. He said he was a feisty person, a person who was very insistent on getting a response. And herein we see, very similar to what Kumarika Mataji said, the quality of Maharaj, that he sets aside the chaff from the grain. He was not looking at why is this person so insistent? Why is he irritating or bothersome? No, he found out that there is a behavior in how it can be, the question can be asked. That is one, but the question was a valid question. So he separated the external behavior from the true matter, and he worked on it for his disciple. And that's a role model for all of us also, to separate the externalities and go to the core, to the essence. That's one. Second was in the beginning of the class, Maharaj spent some time talking about how when he was present in the Henry Street building, that picture of Srila Prabhupada with the books was taken. And Maharaj is showing to us by his own example that it is important to have memories and live by it. Sometimes we think that when we live in the past, we are in the mood of it's a mode of ignorance that comes into play. But when we live in the past, we with a great devotee and use that as an impetus to work in the present, that is no longer the mode of ignorance. So that's one other thing. The mood of Kabe habe se din Amar. When will that day come when I'll go back and be with Srila Prabhupada? Or I was unqualified, but I was still there, a witness to all of it. Or it's just so nice. It's not about me, whether I'm qualified or not. It was so nice to just see Srila Prabhupada sitting with the books. Just nice to know that Srila Prabhupada translated so many books. Uh, these kind of feelings, being in touch with one's feelings, is very important for us as our in our journey as a sadhaka. These two things, and from yesterday's session, in response to a question, what should one do when one is not aware? Maharaj said that we have to tolerate inconvenience and we cannot bully ourselves our way in the world. There are people who do that bullying their way in the world, and especially those who are leaders. They often end up in a situation that they are forced to do it in some way or the other. So we need to carefully consider how to tolerate inconvenience and how to get things done while maintaining um, the goodwill of the people around us towards Krishna and Krishna's devotees. So even when Maharaj said, cannot bully our way in the world, I'm taking it as that we should not let go of the factor of Krishna from the lives of others. We should be very careful with that part there. And Maharaj had also said with yesterday's class that, of course, one of the opportunities for a Grihastha Brahmana in particular is to worship of a deity, but he gave a generic principle. Things that are beneficial should be done regularly. And the problem with this is that when we start doing things regularly, it becomes boring. It's tough. It's easy to do one thing and then do something else the next day, etc. But doing the same thing again and again becomes boring. So we have to figure out ways of how to extract the rasa from doing the same thing again and again. Just like how Maharaj was saying that, not Maharaj, was it Maharaj or Kumari Kamataji? I don't recollect. Somebody was saying it that once Maharaj, when he had his problem with his knee, he just thought of how he can go to Govardhan Parikrama. And with that, as he was meditating on each of the places in Govardhan, how he could walk around Govardhan. So something that was as mundane as just walking and exercising for his knee was uh, was transformed his own consciousness itself in that sense. That's it, Prabhu, from my side for today.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Anyone else would like to share?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes,
Tarat
Prabhu.
Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. So thanks, Prabhu. So in similar lines of to what Diralit Prabhu said, Kumarika Mataji and Shamkun Prabhu, very nice to start with appreciation of Srila Prabhupada. And not just the fact that how Maharaj Shamkun Prabhu nicely mentioned that living in the past, cherishing those memories. Maharaj also very nicely brought out the magnitude of Srila Prabhupada's works. Not just, he mentioned very nicely that for some people it's many, many lifetimes of works. He mentioned each and every book which was stacked up next to Prabhupada. And he just said for many people it's many lifetimes of work, whereas for Srila Prabhupada, it is just, he's still not done yet in this lifetime. So that aspect of appreciation of Srila Prabhupada I very liked. I liked a lot. And then Maharaj nicely narrated so far whatever we heard in this particular session for 15-20 minutes. He brought about the aspect of cows, how Krishna respected the cows, and also the research part which Maharaj did when Krishna got his flute, 4 years, 4 months, and how what kind of rasas are in which the cows with reciprocate with Krishna and vice versa, and the Acharya's commentaries and all of that. So that was very nice, Prabhu. And finally, the the whole Sudama Krishna pastime. He narrated it so nicely that he brought about the Vaishnava qualities along with the pastime. How at every step the reciprocation with Krishna and Sudama Vipra was, and how Krishna respected Sudama all the time, and how Sudama was thinking of Krishna all the time. And when his wife Maharaj mentioned that she was nagging, so that's the we go with that narration that she was nagging, that's why he had to go. But then Sudama was not particularly interested to go and ask Krishna for anything. So that's one takeaway that we as practicing devotees, I've also heard Srila Prabhupada mentioned, is that we should not ask Krishna for anything. So that's one point. But eventually he had to go when he went, and there are very nice exchanges between them. We know the story. And then when he was returning, he was only thinking how Krishna is kind. Krishna is kind and nothing else. So that whole exchanges were nice. And in between also, while Krishna was washing Sudama's feet, it is also Maharaj nicely mentioned that his wife Rukmini also got into the act and was fanning him. So that was nice. And somewhere Maharaj did mention, dear Lalit Prabhu, that Rukmini checked Krishna. Maharaj didn't go into the details, but Rukmini did check Krishna from continuing to eat the chipped rice. He mentioned it was the wonderful thing, wonderful eatable which Sudama had brought. So somewhere Maharaj didn't go into detail. So that's the thing, dear Lalit Prabhu. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anyone else would like to share? Shweta Mataji, anything from your side? Shankar Prabhu?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, I was just thinking this from the story of Sudama and Krishna. So here he is actually doing both the things. He is not interested in asking anything, but he is asking, and not asking as such openly, but mentally he is asking. So how should we take it? Because we are actually dependent upon Krishna, and even if we think that we shouldn't ask anything, we are like hopeless cases. We are completely dependent upon Krishna, and if we don't ask Krishna, then where else we can go? So I was just thinking, like, what does it mean not asking?
Mataji, you able to hear me?
Yes, Prabhu.
We never stop asking. That's the bottom line. The only difference is that we gradually transform ourselves from asking something for roti, kapda, makan, and things like that. From that stage, we ask on how we can enhance Krishna's pleasure. Let him reveal to us what makes him happy. And in between comes the stage where we take his help and keep asking him for help on how uh, we can be an instrument to give Krishna to others. So between one end of the spectrum to the other and the in between stage, we only keep asking. We never stop asking. It's just what we ask changes.
Okay, Prabhu. Yes. Yeah. That answers. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji. Shankar Prabhu, anything from your side?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I like the story about Sudama, which Maharaj also mentioned. So few takeaways which are already discussed today. So nothing more to ask Prabhu today.
Okay. Yugal Keshav
Hare
Prabhu?
Krishna Prabhu.
Ashok Prabhu.
Uh, one more point here that Maharaj went out the details like when Krishna got that flute. So when we got this kind of things, so we will meditate. So how we got and all. Nice, Prabhu. So, thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Yugal Keshav Prabhu, you have something to add?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. The couple of points. One is from yesterday's session, which things, of course, for today's session, there are many important points and been mentioned by other devotees that how Maharaj is so attentive and particular while answering the question. One of the question was that Chota Haridas jumped in ocean. Maharaj corrected him that not in ocean, in the river. And second thing is that from today's lecture, so just to emphasize one point, Maharaj done so much of research. I'm talking about the respect things. The first point was that yesterday the Chaitanya Charitamrita, second lecture, and today from Krishna book or Srimad Bhagavatam. So much of research and detailed things that just to emphasize that particular point, and that shows that he wanted to give complete understanding in the different aspects along with the principles and the examples from our scriptures. And that is the typical nature of His Holiness Rompa Swami Maharaj. He want to give very meticulous, systematic and detailed analysis of the particular topics. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, bro. So anyone else? Last call. Would like to share something?
Prabhu, I got one question in Haridas first time. So there actually Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did all the rituals, final rituals when he went back. So generally, we don't encourage, right? So rituals, so that's not much required, as we know. But how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu want to show this first time to us? Can any light?
Prabhu, I just got distracted. Can you repeat the question?
So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did all the final rituals to Haridas Thakur Prabhu, right? And he went back. So, yeah. So here, like, what can we understand? Generally, rituals are not much important as in that case. Even Sampan Prabhu also told last time. So, how we can understand this in our just thinking on that.
So rather than looking at, see, we don't follow the rituals for the sake of following it. We follow the rituals. The intention behind is to honor that Vaishnava. Like, for example, the ritual of bathing a person who leaves the body, right, before they are cremated or put into samadhi. Those things happens. Okay, and then like after this, and Mahaprabhu had a big Harinam Kirtan, doing when all these things are happening, like Mahaprabhu was doing the Harinam Kirtan was there, and then feeding of the Vaishnavas happened. Okay, all these things, they are not just rituals. Something which is like anything that is done mindfully with the intent of pleasing a Vaishnava, intent of pleasing Krishna is not a ritual. So that's what it is. Like, there are certain things which we do for a departed soul, and Haridas Thakur being a very, very exalted personality, whatever is required for placing him in samadhi, that's what like my Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did, along with Harinam Kirtan and feeding the Vaishnavas.
Yes, got it, bro. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Then we will pause here for today. Thank you so much for joining. Shila Prabhupada ki jai. Vancha kalpataruvasya kripa sindhuvaya vacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha.
Hare Krishna.